If you're setting up Zigbee and Home Assistant for the first time, the hardest part sometimes isn't even the actual setup, it's figuring out which coordinator is the best one for you. I tested 4 of them across different categories, such as price, range, and compatibility, and once you see how they actually performed, you can see which one is the right one for you and which is the one that you should avoid. Now, this is basically for anyone who's shopping for a new adapter or upgrading from an old one. So if you already have a working coordinator with 0 issues, then you probably don't need to switch unless you just want some new cool tech. So let's go ahead and start with the first one, which is price. The Home Assistant ZBT2, which is this one, starts anywhere from $50 to $55, depending on where you buy it. The SLZB06 or some of its variants are around $75, depending on which one you get. And there's the Sonoff ZBDongle-E, which is the cheapest one on this list. This one is around $20 to $25. And then finally, there's the Aeotec Z-Stick 10 Pro, which is usually around $60 MSRP. And so if we were taking only price into consideration, then everyone should buy the Sonoff and no one should buy the SLZB, right? Well, not exactly. Now, there are links in the description if you want to check the latest pricing on these guys, but price is not the only factor that we should take into account when we're considering which coordinator to buy. Price is just the starting point. And so what we really want to know is, what are we getting for the money? Like, if we're going to pay for this, what are we getting out of it? Now, there's a couple different categories. There's USB or power over Ethernet. Those are basically the 2 different categories of coordinators. So the USB ones, like the ZBT2 or the Aeotec or the Sonoff, those 3 are USB. And so you plug the USB device into your Home Assistant instance, whether your Home Assistant Green or your mini PC or something of that nature. This makes them really simple to get set up. You just plug it in there, and then you check the settings to make sure that it's recognized. Or if you're virtualizing, you'll forward it into your Home Assistant VM. That works great if your Home Assistant instance is roughly close to the center of your home or near the center. But if your Home Assistant is in a closet somewhere or it's in the basement, then you're going to be starting off on the wrong foot, because that means the signal coming from one of these USB hubs is going to have to struggle that much more to get to your devices upstairs or on the other side of the house. And so that's where the SLZB comes into play, because this one is power over Ethernet. This means that it's way more flexible than the other USB coordinators, because all you need is a network drop to plug it in right there, and then you can physically move it wherever you need to. This is a massive advantage for larger homes or people who virtualize their Home Assistant, because you don't need to rely on a USB device. You can just use the power over Ethernet and put it wherever you need to. Now, the antenna is approximately the same size as the ZBT2. They're roughly equivalent depending on where you start measuring it. Overall, they're both huge antennas compared to the Sonoff, which is a smaller antenna, or the Aeotec Z-Stick 10 Pro, which doesn't have any antenna and is just a USB stick. One thing to note about the Aeotec Z-Stick 10 Pro is that this actually has both Zigbee and Z-Wave on the same USB stick. Historically, dual protocol sticks have sucked, quite honestly. The Nortec USB stick, if you remember those, you've been around home automation a while, that was a dual protocol stick also, kind of in the earlier days of Home Assistant. But this one has actually been really reliable in my testing. So if Z-Wave devices are in your future in addition to Zigbee, then this one might be worth considering. But a USB stick like this is no match for a huge antenna kind of like this one. Have you ever ran into range problems with your Zigbee network? Let me know in the comments. But the form factor only tells you where you can put it. Compatibility lets us know whether it'll actually work reliably once it's set up. So this is where it gets just a little more complicated. When it comes to compatibility, the ZBT2 is developed directly by Home Assistant. And so when you plug it in, it's automatically recognized. This is one of those ones where I mentioned earlier where it kind of nudges you towards Zigbee home automation by design. And for beginners, that's super easy because all you do is you plug it in, you click a button, and then your network can get started. This one technically does work with Zigbee to MQTT, but it's not by default. And you have to actually stop the Zigbee home automation integration. And then you have to then enable the Zigbee to MQTT Home Assistant app, and then get that set up over there. The others, however, are agnostic in terms of the software that you can use them with. For example, you can use the Sonoff with either Zigbee home automation or Zigbee to MQTT. It generally works really well out of the box, especially with the Ember software stack. Just make sure the firmware is updated before you actually start pairing any devices with it. You can do that update straight from the Sonoff website. And because this one is widely used by a lot of people, it means there's a lot of posts out there in case you end up running into issues. Similar thing with the SLZB06. This one also works great with Zigbee to MQTT or Zigbee Home Automation, but one of the killer features of the SLZB is that it has its own web interface that you can control the firmware, you can change the settings, you can switch operating modes, it'll show you the connection, and you can do all sorts of settings on the device physically without touching Home Assistant, and it lives separately on its own. So you don't need to unplug it in order to update the firmware or download some other app to try and get that updated. You can do it all through the web UI that's on the SLZB directly. That's pretty cool. Now for the Z Stick 10 Pro, man, this thing is tiny. It is very small. I mean, even compared to the Sonoff, you see this is the Sonoff, and then this is the Aeotec Z Stick 10 Pro. That is very tiny. You don't end up having a bunch of different USB dongles hanging out of your system, running out of USB ports. Ask me how I know. This one actually takes one port but has two protocols on it, so that saves some space. It's got two of the latest Silicon Labs chips on there, and so this means that it can do both protocols at the same time without any issues. Z-Wave is handled separately by a different integration in Home Assistant. Technically, there's a slighter complexity to getting this set up because it has two chips on it. That means there's two serial ports, which means you just got to make sure you choose the right one when you get it set up. And if it doesn't work, then you pick the wrong one and you got to switch to the next one. But it's pretty easy to switch, and so it's not really that big of a deal, but it is an extra step. But compatibility on paper is one thing. How do these actually perform in and around your house? Now that's something different. And so I actually ran my own tests with these just to see how they stack up. And so for the first test, I took each coordinator and put it on a brand new Home Assistant installation, and then paired a single device, which is this little button. And then I went to 10 feet away without any walls in between, and then pressed the button a couple of times, and then measured the average RSSI. I then did that for each coordinator, and then I went to about 30 feet away with a wall in between, and then did the same thing, measured the results. And then after that one, I kind of did the mega test. I went outside and approximately 45 to 50 feet away from my coordinator, and then I measured the button presses similar to before, and then did that for all the coordinators. But in full transparency, I ran into an issue with my SLZB06. Because mine has a Texas Instruments chip inside, it apparently doesn't support reporting the RSSI signal strength like all of my other adapters do. Those other adapters have Silicon Labs chips, which support reporting the signal strength back to Zigbee Home Automation, but this SLZB06 that I have does not. Sounds a little disappointing. I wish I knew that up front. So I also did the tests with all four adapters, measuring the Link Quality Index, or LQI number. So you can see the LQI and the RSSI results there on the screen. Feel free to pause it if you want to look at them in more detail. Of course, LQI also varies based on the chip manufacturer too. That's another aspect to consider when it comes to comparing these adapters. For example, even though the SLZB appears to score lower on LQI, in my testing, it had better range than the others when I tried to see how far I could go before the Aqara switch stopped responding. This is just my personal experience in my area with these adapters, and your mileage may vary. So with all that on the table, the price, the performance, the features, and the compatibility, and all this other stuff, here's who I would recommend each one of these towards. If you suspect that you're going to get Zigbee devices, but then also get Z-Wave devices like a thermostat or something like that, then you might as well just get this one up front, and it'll save you the hassle of having to have two separate adapters. It does both protocols, and it does them pretty well, actually, I gotta say. Even though it's more expensive than the Sonoff, you get two protocols instead of just one. And if you think you're gonna add Z-Wave in the future, then you should get this one. That way you can get ahead of needing a second adapter. The Sonoff is best for beginners or people on a budget. It's the cheapest entry point, and it works with Zigbee Home Automation and with Zigbee to MQTT, and has the largest community support out of any of the adapters that we tested. And so if you want something that's got the best bang for the buck, then the Sonoff ZBDongle-E is going to be the one that you're going to want to pick up. I would say the best for everyone else is the SLZB06. I mean, this thing is a beast. It's got a huge antenna. You can put it anywhere because of the power over Ethernet. The web UI is generally useful. It's basically the most flexible and the most powerful at the same time. Even though it is the most expensive out of all of these coordinators, if you want to buy once and cry once, then this is going to be the one for you. And so the Home Assistant Connect ZBT2. This one looks good on paper. It's got auto firmware updates, it integrates directly with Home Assistant, but it doesn't really have any unique features over these other adapters that I tested. It's more expensive than the Sonoff, It has fewer features than the SLZB does, and it of course doesn't have the dual protocol like the Aeotec does. If you want to support Home Assistant and the work that they're doing over there, or you want a big antenna but you know you'll never use any of the other features of the SLZB, then I guess this one would be the option for you. But it seems like if you're willing just to spend a little more, then you could just go ahead and get the SLZB and you'll have way more features for only a slightly higher price than the ZBT2. And so now that you've picked your coordinator, the last thing we need to do is get it set up with Zigbee to MQTT. My setup guide walks you through the whole thing step by step. So check out this video so that we can get it set up together.